Hi everyone, welcome to the session Thriving Cultures at Work. I am Marcella Bremer and this session is offered to you by the IOC. Today I would like to discuss three parts with you. First, I'd like to take a look at the stages of organizational culture. Second, we're going to take a look at the four archetypes of culture. And last but not least, we're going to see how change circles might help create an inspiring, thriving culture at work. Here's part one. The stages of organizational culture. Roughly, they are suffer, survive, and thrive based on the stages of human development. Now, if you have an organizational or workplace culture where people suffer, you can have the mindset of life sucks. Everyone is a loser. This is a deeply held belief. People experience threats. They don't feel safe at all. They are scared and they experience everything as a problem. So life and the workplace and your boss and your co-workers are handing you problems and everyone is losing in their own way. This is a victim mindset. You have to work for money. You are hired because of your output, your what. And the main reason that I am working here is self-preservation because I need to make a living. But whoa, it's hard. We're being managed with coercion and top down. So I don't want to do things unless you make me do things because I'm a victim. I have no information, so I'm just a little part in the bigger whole probably, but it's meaningless anyway. I have no space to do things in my own way and I experience no space for choices at all. That's because I'm a victim as well. And this whole mindset and the whole culture around us and the bullying and the coercion and the thing that I'm in it for my safety while I'm trying to make a living doesn't render me much energy. I think this workplace and my work is meaningless. And I'm afraid of being bullied, of having to work harder and of all the problems that I face. But hey, what can you do? My main focus is my needs, everything that I need and the things that I am lacking and the opportunities and possibilities that I'm lacking. There are no real possibilities. Life is a bunch of problems. This is the mindset and the behaviors of a suffering culture. Now the next stage is a culture, a workplace where people merely survive. So let's take a look at those characteristics and see if you recognize them from jobs you've done or places where your family and friends and neighbors work. Because the next stage is a workplace culture where people survive. And the mindset is slightly different because, from a victim, I was thinking I want to change things. And my mindset and my deeply held belief is that life is hard, so you better play it smart. And life doesn't have losers and not everyone is losing. I can win while you might lose. So some people win and others lose. But you have to play it smart because life is hard. And coming from this mindset, I see scarcity everywhere around me. So I face a lot of challenges. I used to think they were problems, but they're really challenges. And I'm working hard to climb the hierarchy, to climb this ladder. And I'm not feeling completely fearful and unsafe, like in the former stage. But now I can get temporary safety. Sometimes I reach higher ground when I accomplish something and I'm safe for a little while and I can enjoy it. But never forget, life is hard, there's no free lunch and you have to work. So this is the mindset of a fighter. You have to put in all your time and effort. You have to work hard, and then maybe life and this workplace will remind you, will reward you. And this is more, I am being hired not for my output and the what, but I'm being hired for my expertise, for the how-to, how I do things. And my main concern is not self-preservation so much as it's slightly shifted to self-mastery. I want to become even better in my job, and I want to make a career and climb up in that hierarchy. So we're being managed and we're working together in cooperation. So it's a mixture of top-down and bottom-up. And sometimes I cooperate with my co-workers, but some of them I don't trust. So it's a bit of everything. And we have some information, so I have regulated information. When you're part of the meetings, then you know things. And when you're not, well, too bad, then you don't. And I have some space to do my job in my own way, the way I like it. I have some space within my position and in the box that is my job description. But at least I have some choices of how to do my work. And all this together gives me, well, more energy, as you can notice right now. You know, I'm in for it. I'm a fighter. I'm going to climb and make myself even safer when I reach a higher position. So, well, maybe my main energy is not so much fear as it is anger, because I want to make a living and I want to make things better for myself and my family. So my main concern is what I have, and I want to have more, and what I have to do. Because really, why I'm doing this job in my workplace and the whole culture around us is that we have to do things. We have to. Come on. Life is hard. Play it smart. All right. So maybe you know some people who work in a culture that's more in the survive stage of development. Now let's take a look at the future, because when this could have been the 19th century, the survive cultures were more of the 20th century, and you can see your fathers working there maybe and your mothers. But let's take a look at the 21st century and the new organizations where people like you and your generation will thrive. So here's a completely different mindset. Life is great, isn't it? You can go to college, you can choose any topic that you would like to know more about. This is great. I mean, the opportunities that we have compared to our great-grandparents or our parents for that matter, it's awesome. So life is great. And some of us might even really adopt this interesting, fascinating mindset of abundance. Come on, there's enough for everyone. And we can see opportunities around us. So there is no problems, challenges, come on. Everything is an opportunity to grow and to become better at what you do. And you know, my basis is that I am safe. I am okay. You are okay. There are no winners and losers. I mean, we can all win. It depends on your criteria. So simply create a life that you want to live, because there's abundance and there's so much you can do. Welcome to the 21st century, where we are in the mindset of a creator. I really want to create my life, and I'm in it for self-transcendence. So I am hired in this workplace for who I am. My personality counts, my purpose, my motivation, and what I want to contribute to the world. So that is what I love about self-transcendence. It's not about me, it's about a higher purpose. So what are you going to do about the world? We are working together in co-creation. So come on, this top-down, bottom-up stuff, that's old hierarchies and factories. But now we co-create, and we are putting together all of our talents and personalities to create something great that the world is really waiting for. So we don't really have boxes and secrecy and meetings and office politics. What we've got is flowing information. We've got lots of space. You know, some of us don't even have job descriptions, so we can really create our own positions and see what we're good at, what we want to do. Everybody trusts each other over here, so we're really open. We value authenticity and openness. So if I need some of your information, I'll simply ask you, and don't wait for an official meeting or don't wait for signatures, etc. So really, in the thriving workplace, I have high energy, you have high energy, because we're excited and it's fascinating. And we are really in it for the purpose. I mean, this is really about me making a difference to the world in addition to making a living. But you know, that's the least of my concerns. Let's have this purpose. And then my main emotion, what I'm in for it for, is love. It's not fear, it's not anger, it's love, it's excitement, it's friendship, it's doing something for the greater good. That's why I'm here. And the main concern is to be. It's no longer about what my needs, no longer about what I have to do. This is about how I am. It's about being, and then I'll choose what to do. Welcome to the thriving workplace of the 21st century. Okay, let's pause. Okay, welcome to part 2. And I'd like to show you the archetypes of culture. And this is based on the competing values framework that was developed by Cameron and Quinn of the University of Michigan. And they did extensive research to find what makes organizational effectiveness and what kind of cultures go with it. And that they found that there are 2 polarities that organizations have to choose between, that are very defining and descriptive of the organizational culture that evolves. And that is whether organizations choose for flexibility and doing things your own way, or whether they focus on stability, so they value planning and control over emerging possibilities and doing things your own way. So that is the first polarity. The second is whether they are internally or externally focused. So you have to choose whether you focus more on your people and your internal organization, or whether you're looking out at the window and see what the marketplace wants and what your competition is doing. So you cannot do both things at the same time. Hence the competing values framework. You always have to choose at any given moment in time what value to focus on. If you put them in a matrix, you get 4 archetypes of culture, and they are aligned with MBTI and personality assessments as well. So the first culture type and archetype is adhocracy culture. And adhocracy culture is focused, it values flexibility, discretion, doing things on your own way, in your own way, and it has an external focus. So what are the others doing and what is happening in the world? Their keyword is to create. They love to create new things, and this is the culture that values ideas and action. So their motto is do things first. It's very entrepreneurial, innovative and dynamic archetype of culture. Then when you still value flexibility, but you have more employees, for instance, you need to focus more on the internal organization, and you need to focus on one another to work together, you evolve into the archetype of clan culture. And here's clan culture. Their keyword is to collaborate. And they like to do things together. That's their motto. And their focus is people. So this is a very friendly, people-oriented culture where leaders can be coaches or mentors. And they value participation. Now, if you have an internal focus, but you're not so much focused on the people as you are on organizing your structures, your procedures, and your processes, you end up in the archetype of hierarchy culture. And hierarchy culture has the internal orientation and it values stability. So their keyword is to control. That is what they really like to do. And they value processes. And their main concern is to do things the right way. So that is focusing on coordination, structure, control, quality, reliability, efficiency. That is why they are in the game and what they like about the game. Now, if you have so much of an internal focus that everything is efficient and running smoothly, then you might want to look outside and see if you are still aligned with what your market and your customers want. So, if you have an external focus and you still value stability, you evolve to market culture. This archetype values to compete. And they are in the game for results. They really like that. So their motto is do things fast, be the first on the market, dazzle your customers, but it's also getting things done no matter what. So here's the competing values framework with these archetypes of current cultures in all kinds of organizations and workplaces around you. You can see that you have the ideas and action culture type, the people culture type, the processes culture type, or the results culture type. And you can see the polarities between people and results, between innovation and ideas, and processes, planning and control. So here is the competing values framework if you want to assess your workplace culture, or wherever you have a job or you just want to try it out. I invite you to use the organizational culture assessment instrument, the OCAI, and you can do a free culture assessment for archetypes on ocai-online.com. Okay, let's pause here. So now you've seen the archetypes, the 4 archetypes of culture, and you've seen the 3 stages of culture development, if you will. So the question is, in these archetypes, what would be a thriving workplace? Where in these archetypes do you want to work to thrive at work and to thrive as an organization? The thing is, in the competing values framework, the archetypes are neutral. So every value is good in itself. So not one archetype is better than the other. So it depends on what suits you better. I mean, if you are a very structured person, you might feel more at home in a hierarchy culture that values processes and doing things the right way. And an innovative, very dynamic person would prefer adhocracy culture, for instance. So that depends. So it's not as black and white that we can say this archetype will help people thrive. However, because we operate the OCAI, the culture survey, online, we have lots of people who do the culture survey with us, and we have a database. So I can have my preferences, but I would like to show you what people from the United States see as their preferred organizational culture at work. So according to the research, what do you think that United States employees and workers everywhere in the United States, in all industry sectors, value the most when it comes to organizational culture? What is the preferred culture? How would they thrive at work? Here we go. Ta-da-da! And here we see the culture profile for almost 12,630 participants who did the survey. And when you look at this blue profile, this is the current organizational culture on average in the United States. And you can see that the most dominant archetype the most dominant culture in the American workplace is the results-oriented market culture, doing things fast, getting things done. And the second is the processes, the hierarchy culture. Now you see another profile. This is the green-yellow profile. And this one is the preferred culture. So this is what American workers desire in their workplace, to thrive. If there were a good fairy, what would they want at work? Well, they would like more of a people-oriented clan culture. So they want more clan culture and more adhocracy culture. So that is the focus on ideas and action. And you may remember that the upper quadrants value flexibility, discretion, doing things your own way, as opposed to the bottom of this quadrant that is more focused on stability. So you can see that in this huge sample of almost 30,000 people, most of them want more than 10 points up, a shift upwards toward flexibility. So this is really interesting. This is not about what I prefer, but what most people in actual workplaces prefer in order to thrive. And that aligns pretty much with what Daniel Pink has been saying about the motivations of the modern workers, that people want autonomy and purpose at work, and they want mastery of their skills. So they want to try new things, they want to work with great people and want to do things their own way. So the highly educated professionals of today really value the archetypes that favor flexibility. That is really aligned with all the other research. Also the research by Frederic Laloux, who says that people value self-management, purpose and wholeness. So being who you are. And remember to be who you are and come into work with all of your roles, all of who you are. That aligns very much with the stage of a thriving culture. So hence, our current workplaces may be a bit industrial age, maybe a bit outdated, focused on the stability and another worldview where you can plan and control things and life is hard. And maybe we're all going to shift upwards to flexibility and a life is great mindset. I'd like you to discuss, workplaces where you already see the archetypes based on flexibility and that really create a thriving 21st century workplace. Okay, let's pause here. Good enough? Hi everyone, and we're back for part 3 because this is really fascinating. You have seen the stages: suffer, survive, thrive of organizational culture development. Then you have seen the 4 archetypes: adhocracy culture, clan culture, hierarchy culture, and market culture. And now, how can we link those 2 things together? So how will you create an inspiring organizational culture when you start working somewhere after college or in your current job where you make some extra money? So how do I go about this? Well, I can give you a 3-day workshop about it, so we don't have much time. So I'm going to show you what I do with change circles, because I use these circles to create elements and to find the features and practice the behaviors that make up the thriving culture from the first stage, and that have characteristics of the upper 2 quadrants that value flexibility, the people orientation, and the ideas and action. So what do I do even when I'm in a really old-fashioned top-down hierarchy? Well, there's always something you can do. I come together with a maximum of 10 people, so we create a safe space with the 10 of us, and the goal is to aim for the free flow of information and energy. And with 10 people, it's easier to be safe and comfortable and get to know one another, and everyone is visible. So people are more likely to lean in, and there is no leaning back and criticizing on the back row. So we want everyone's engagement, everyone's information and energy to work on creating a culture or doing things better so that we will feel better at work, so we'll have more fun and more results. So in this little bubble where we know one another, we become safe, we practice trust, respect, and we give attention to one another, we start to share information, we support one another, there is time to focus on nonverbal behaviors. So if there's only 10 people in a circle and I see you frown, I can ask, what is the matter? And you might have doubts or questions, or maybe you're dreaming about other things. So there's enough time, space, and energy to focus on those things so we can really pay attention to second thoughts and making our plans even better. So in a change circle, what we're practicing is a dialogue where everybody is thinking together, they are valuing diversity and they respect one another, as opposed to debate, which is more discussing and which aligns more with the survival state. So in a dialogue, everybody is trying to build on one another's ideas to come up with something better. And in this change circle, we are also self-managing. So we create a space where we come up with our own projects and plans, and we focus on what works well and what could we practice to do better. So this could be really a fun space, a very safe bubble where we develop ourselves and develop ideas and projects. And we can even enlarge this circle of influence, because if we come up with great ideas, the others will think, whoa, I want to be part of that, or yeah, let's give them more space or more budget, and we'll give them permission to do so. So even in hierarchies, if you team up with 9 other people who are really looking for a leap forward and who are really ready for a thriving culture, you can get together and create this culture together in the team, in the circle, where people start to thrive, and you get a free flow of information and energy, and you will come up with great ideas. People will develop themselves further, and you can even spread it to the rest of the organization, so you will go viral. So even when you're working in an old-fashioned top-down hierarchy, there's something you can do. So this is a vehicle for change, a development circle that I work with in organizations when I'm addressing culture, even when the structures and everything else around them stays the same. There is something you can do. There's always something you can do within that space and enlarge the space. So you energize people with the right mindset. We are creators in this circle, and there's something we can do to create a thriving workplace. We engage around a purpose that we really want to contribute to, and we practice behaviors and mindsets that make us feel better, and that allows us to be whole and to be who we are at work, and to be known and valued and recognized for that. And we empower each other, first within the space, and then later on the others as well, as we extend our space and we entice the others to create a change circle as well. And what we keep outside of this circle is everything that is aligned with the phases of suffer and survive. And some of the behaviors of the dark side behaviors of market and hierarchy cultures. So we try to stay away from the hurry, from exclusive meetings, secrecy, power play, having to obey and comply, castigating people, punishment, fear, gossip, control, prejudice, the organization chart that defines your position to be only this, disrespect, the cynics, the ones who complain in the hallway. That is a victim energy that you don't want to work with. And the critics, it's great to express some doubts and to criticize plans to make them better, but it is about the whole mindset. And then, last but not least, the biggest energy blocker is the inner critic. So we work on the inner critic as well. Nothing is weird, everything is allowed, as long as you open up and you are respectful to yourself and others. We can even discuss the inner critic, and by exposing him or her to the daylight, the inner critic might become even kinder and start to support and encourage us. So this is how it's a short overview of change circles, and I'd like you to take this idea with you. There's always a circle of influence, and there's always something you can do to create an inspiring work culture, even when you choose to work in an industrial age organization. But take this with you as well and practice the people skills that you need. Become who you are, become whole, even in 21st century organizations that really create a thriving workplace. So thank you for your attention. I hope I have inspired you to create an inspiring organizational culture when you start out for work after college. Keep up the good work, and let's create a great 21st century. Thank you so much.